Eileen?
Hi, Raphael. I'm glad you're on.
Mhm. I don't know what happened, but there's always something.
There is. I'm like,
I'll grab
are a little early in this, so.
Eileen?
Yes? Raphael, I'm glad you're on.
I don't know what happened, but there's always something.
There is. I'm like,
I'll grab
are a little early in this, so. Hi, Board Member Anderson. If you would test your audio and visual, that would be wonderful. Member Anderson, if you would try your audio, please.
I'm here.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. And Brad, if you would please test your audio, that would be wonderful.
This is a test. Can you?
I can. Wonderful. Thank you.
And then there's a test of the video.
Perfect. Love the background. Member Lacusta, if you would, oh, thank you.
Do you know if, hi, Brad. You know if Peter is coming or?
He did reply that he would be, so if we want to wait a couple more moments.
Yes, he did indicate to me that he was going to be a part of this meeting, that he was able to make it. Yeah, we do have a quorum, and I know member Anderson does have a 2:30 meeting, so
I was thinking,
I don't know how long we want to wait, but we can't wait too long and lose the quorum.
well, if we have a quorum, we should probably just proceed and we'll fill Peter in as soon as he arrives. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. Good afternoon, everyone. And before we get started, I do have a webinar disclosure statement that I have to read. Calling the meeting to order, and I would like to welcome you all to our July 12th special meeting of the Santa Rosa Tourism Business Improvement Area Advisory Board. Today's meeting is in a virtual setting using the Zoom webinar, and welcome, Peter. Committee members and staff are participating from remote locations and or practicing appropriate social distancing. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting as noted on the city's website and as noted on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to speak during item 3, public comments, or during our public hearing items will be able to do so by utilizing the raise hand feature, and they do so by pressing *9 on their phone. They then can be given the ability to address the committee. And having said that, I'd like to, Madam Secretary, if you could please do a roll call for us.
Certainly.
Two.
Member Rumble.
Present.
Thank you. Member Rivero.
Present.
Member Anderson.
Present.
Member LaCusta.
Present.
Brad Calkins.
Present.
And let the record reflect that Member Renteria is not present.
All right, thank you. And now I would like to move on to item 3, which is public comments. Madam Secretary, do we have any public comments?
We do not have any raised hands at this time, nor do we have any emails or voicemails for this meeting.
All right, thank you very much. And I'd like to move on to actually new business, item 3. So item 3.1 will be the review and approval of the 2020-2021 annual report and the 2021-2022 work plan. So as you may recall, we put together this report every year around this time. And we are actually would like to have a discussion on approving the report and such. And here's the opportunity to do so. So Eileen is going to help us kind of go through the document. I will give some quick highlights of each of the sections. And then you're free to provide comments, recommendations, suggestions, edits until we get to the approval time. All right, so thank you for that. And Eileen, if we could go through the document briefly. So we got, let's see, the first few pages. If you could maybe, I didn't flag it. The first few sections, of course, talks about the assessment and the percentages and how the BIA was established. And then I have a section here under, which is, Eileen, sorry, page 5, impact and recovery, where we provide some just a quick messages and content on the challenges that we endured during the 2020 pandemic situation, economic impact. The section also talks about recovery. We do highlight maybe in a paragraph or two about the glass fire. So that was also something critical to point out in this report. Again, it's brief, it's not very elaborate. But then on page 6, we move on to the opening of a few hotels, in addition to our stock inventory here in the city of Santa Rosa. And we briefly mentioned the renovations that were done to the Flamingo Hotel, which was actually built back in 1957. We did talk a little bit about briefly about the hotels removed from the active inventory due to the action taken by the county and wanting to, an interest in wanting to house or provide temporary shelter to vulnerable populations, homeless individuals and folks that needed to go through quarantine. And then we move on to the financial summary. I did have to adjust some information related to our our BIA numbers, and later on our TOT table, which by the end of our fiscal year, those numbers are readjusted or modified. In the financial section 2, you'll see this is Santa Rosa's report from 2020, the financial summary, I should say. And then we move on to just the typical item that we include in this report, which is how the board is comprised and who are the current members and whatnot. And then we move on to a section that's labeled Tourism Industry Indicators. A lot of this information comes from resources that are available through the Sonoma County Tourism, as well as the Economic Development Board's tourism report or report on tourism and hospitality industry. And the challenge here is getting the numbers that are reported for 2020, since those numbers are usually not available by the time we put this report together. So even though we have access to the 2019 reports and trends and graphs, it was a little bit of a challenge collecting data for 2020. However, we did manage to include a couple of items related to occupancy rate in 2020, hotel average daily rate for 2020, and again, some of the other challenges and trends that we saw during the year of when the pandemic was very intensified. Eileen, if you could continue on and I guess pass through the graphs that report information on 2019, and that takes us over to accomplishments section. Of course, these accomplishments were modified due to the pandemic and other unforeseen troubles in our county, with including the glass fire. But we did think outside of the box during the pandemic year, and came out with the Downtown Open and Out program, helping merchants and restaurants survive during this difficult time. There's something there mentioned about insideoutthere.com, And then we have some other highlights related to the Visit Santa Rosa accomplishments. There's a couple of sections there. Typically, these sections are much longer. However, we did, it looks like there were some modifications made, therefore some less bullet points. But behind the scenes, Visit Santa Rosa was also very active in trying to do what they could do to promote business and visits in Santa Rosa, even though everyone was had the stay-at-home orders. There is a section there talking about the top articles. It kind of stops around the end of June, but Business Center is very proactive with coming out with many of these articles in partnership with other local and nationwide publishers. And as you can see there, there's also another section for the 2020 accomplishments under Business Santa Rosa, which has had to do a lot with their crisis response approach, where they implemented the 3 steps, which include response, recovery, and resiliency. So phenomenal work that the staff from Business Santa Rosa did during the period of the pandemic, which is still, we're still under, but of course, with the vaccine coming into play, it has eased a lot of the restrictions and has also gotten rid of the collar tiers statewide as well as the countywide. Accomplishments, even though we rescinded some of the funds that we had approved early in January 2020, we had to, many of these events were canceled by the event organizers. So we're hoping to regroup again and have those funds available for this new fiscal year and begin approving the event support applications. So as we begin to open up, we look forward to seeing more events here in Santa Rosa. And then looking ahead, there's a section there where it talks a little bit about the financing and the budgets. And again, this is all, this could potentially be adjusted per COVID. So you'll see there that currently the city of Santa Rosa is working with Third Plateau to strategize, to go through a strategic plan and incorporate SRTVIA goals into that plan so we can have a new refresh approach to reaching visitors that come to Santa Rosa. And in addition to that, the initiatives under Visit Santa Rosa are also very nicely laid out, and they include business recovery, Market Santa Rosa as a premier overnight destination, attract, retain, and grow group and events, and it provides an update on the California Welcome Center, which has remained closed during the entire time of the pandemic. And that is pretty much a quick overview of this year's report with the upcoming work plan. The item will be presented at the August 3rd City Council meeting. Eileen, I don't remember if it's now consent or if we're actually doing a presentation, but we'll be prepared to do a presentation. And Brad, I think I gave you a heads up regarding the potential presentation. So we'll be ready to go in case the item doesn't go under consent. So at this point, I'd like to know if there are any comments or discussions, and then I'll open it up for the public if there are any members of the public here on the call.
There are no hands raised from the public at this time.
All right, thank you. All right, so if there aren't any other comments or suggestions or edits, I'd like to hear a motion. Any of you on approving the annual report for 2020, 2021, and the work plan fiscal year 2021, 2022.
I'd be happy to make that motion. Just a quick point of clarification. The attachment that is available through Legistar and the version that you went through just now look like they might be a little bit different. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I apologize. There were updates made and the version on Legistar is the most current version.
Great. So I would move to approve the most current version that is available to the public on Legistar.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, so motion passes unanimously, and motion approved. Pretty much concludes our special meeting. I look forward to seeing you on July 22nd. I think we have a couple of applications and the approval of minutes from our last meeting. So I'd like to thank you all very much, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Good seeing you guys. Thank you.